Good morning, everyone. It's Stephen Whiteside here from theuptrend.com with your morning market outlook for Monday, July 13th, 2026. In the pre-market this morning, stock index futures are down across the board, being led lower by the Nasdaq. It might have something to do with crude oil. It could also have something to do with South Korea. We'll look at that in a minute. Crude oil is up over $2.50, while we have gold and silver continuing to move lower on Monday. Looking at the Asian market, South Korea was down nearly 9% overnight. The South Korean ETF, based on Friday's trading action, of course, is still on a sell signal here. It certainly looks like we'll be making a lower low on Monday. Now, we haven't talked about seasonality charts in a while because the market really doesn't care about seasonalities or anything else at the moment. We're really just focused on the chip sector and what's going on there. So right now, volatility should be trending lower, which is supportive for higher stock prices. For the month of July, it's usually a very bullish month for the S&P 500 and the TSX. There's your current seasonality charts. Nothing to worry about from the seasonalities at the moment until the third week of the month, where we get a pop in the VIX and a little bit of a pullback in the overall markets. But this year, the market's probably going to ignore anything to do with seasonalities at the moment. Looking at the VIX of the Fear Index, we're still on a sell signal here. That's supportive for higher stock prices. Obviously, we're not seeing that on Monday morning, but the day's not over yet. If we get a close above 1782 on Monday, that would certainly be the first sign of something new happening. And of course, we're looking for much more to the upside before we get overly bearish on the overall market. And of course, if we get a buy signal in the VIX ETFs, we will be taking that on Monday if that were to happen. If we close above the upper channel line, we'll be back here on Tuesday morning to place an order for the VIX ETFs. Looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're down in the pre-market this morning. Bitcoin is still on a buy signal here, but the pros do not seem to be overly excited. Compare that to Ethereum, where the pros are a little more excited at the moment and have taken control. So Ethereum looks like it can handle things a bit better than Bitcoin coming into Monday's trading action. Quick look at currencies. The US dollar index is still on a buy signal. The euro, the Canadian dollar, and the Japanese yen are all still on sell signals. But you can see that we were making an effort to generate a buy signal on Friday, and we had the Japanese yen trading up to the upper channel line. We could see a change in trend for the currencies on Monday. No changes in the bond market. The major bonds are all still on sell signals right now. Bond yields still on a buy signal, and you can see Friday was an inside day, so a fairly quiet trading day for the bond market on Friday. Looking at the Canadian market, both the TSX 60 and the TSX Composite are on buy signals at the moment. Friday was a pretty mixed day for the TSX. We had half and half. Consumer discretionary, consumer staples were the big winners, followed by the financials. And then on the downside, it was the phone companies were the big losers on the day, followed by materials, which of course includes the gold sector. Looking at the TSX most actives from Friday's trading action, no change in trend here for Canadian Natural Resources. The TD Bank still on a sell signal here, no change. Things would change on Monday with a close above $171.12. We're trying to get to 175. We've got the Bank of Nova Scotia back on a buy signal as of Friday's close. I would check the open on that. We're trying to get to 125. We tried to punch through it earlier in the month of July, and here we are once again looking at major resistance. Looking at BlackBerry, we're looking for a close on Monday below $15.17 to give us a sell signal. No change for Enbridge coming into Monday's trading action, still on a sell signal. Inside day on Friday for Synnova, still on a buy signal. No change in trend for TELUS. TELUS is, after making a new low, we started to come back up, and we've been stuck at the 1484 level for the whole week last week, and looking to see if we can break out above that. Given what we're seeing in the pre-market this morning, 1406 is not only a daily but a weekly target. And then the next major weekly target below that is 1250. So we'll be watching to the downside unless TELUS can turn around and give us a buy signal. Looking at who's in control, you can see the pros are pretty neutral at the moment, not really interested in coming back and taking control of the price of TELUS on Monday. Now, looking at the Royal Bank, wow, we almost made it to 300. We got as high as $299.29. So we'll have to see if the $300 level is a deterrent to investors on Monday. Looking at Ivanhoe, we traded up to the upper channel line on Friday, looking for a close above 1092 on Monday to give us a buy signal. No change in trend for Manulife, still on a buy signal here, trying to get through 59.38. We have not been able to do that just yet. Kinross, like most major gold stocks right now, is on a sell signal. That will not change on Monday. Keel Infrastructure still on a sell signal, no change there, and no change for Baytex, still on a buy signal here. Drifted into the channel on Friday, should be up on Monday with the price of crude oil rising. And with Air Canada is still on a buy signal here. We closed at $24.45 on Friday. We need to close below $24.33 on Monday. Given the spike in the price of oil, we'll probably see selling in Air Canada. Air Canada has got some labor news out this morning, which could also help change the direction of that stock. Looking at the U.S. market, and we've got the S&P 500 still on a buy signal here. We're talking about the 750 level. We traded above it back at the end of May and came back. We made a lower high, and now we're coming in. We're closing above the 750 level. We're still attached to it, but we are trading lower in the pre-market this morning, so we may be back under 750 on Monday. Now, the NASDAQ ended Friday on a buy signal, so I would currently wave that off and wait for the next close above the upper channel line before jumping back into the NASDAQ at this time. And if we look at this chart, you can see that back at the start of June, we ran up and tried to break through 750, couldn't do it. In June, in the middle of June, we made a lower high, then we made another lower high, and we could be putting in a lower high here. We'll just have to wait and see. We've been stuck in this range since the start of May and looking for a breakout of the range. We're currently closing just above the middle of that range, and we'll wait and see how Monday turns out. We may be back under the middle of that range as of the close on Monday based on what we're seeing in the pre-market this morning. Now, looking at the U.S. market on Friday, it was a much more bullish market with only healthcare trading down on the day based on the major S&P sectors. Looking at the most actives, and NVIDIA, once again, the most actively traded stock. We tried to get up to $12.50, couldn't do it, got as high as $211. And so on Monday, we'll have to see if we start breaking down below 200. That would be a bearish sign for NVIDIA. Then looking at American Airlines, we're on a sell signal here. Expect that stock to trade lower on Monday. Then looking at Opendoor. Opendoor ran up, hit our next target of 547. So if you had an order up there, congratulations. But it had a complete reversal on Friday. And so that looks like a lower high for Opendoor, and that is a bearish sign for that stock. Then looking at Intel, still on a sell signal here, no change there. No change for Nokia. A close above $13.01 would give us a buy signal on Monday, not expecting that to happen. NU Holdings still on a buy signal here, no change, having trouble getting over the 1406 level once again. So we've tried 3 times and failed. And that's probably telling us that 1406 is going to remain as major resistance. Looking at Rivian Automotive, no change there, still on a buy signal. We ran up and tagged the 1875 level on Friday and then pulled back. So again, this might be the sign that we've hit resistance and stopped for the time being. Then Ondas is still on a sell signal here, no change. No change for AT&T, still on a sell signal. Apple is up at the previous highs and struggling up here. Certainly there's no sign of negativity on Monday. We would need to close way down below $298.31 on Monday to give us a sell signal. If that doesn't happen on Monday, of course, that lower channel line is going to continue to move higher daily. Next target to the upside for Apple is $320.31. Looking at SpaceX, and SpaceX continues to move below where it opened, and on Friday we were down 4.51%, so it looks like we're going to make a lower low on Monday for that stock as it continues to dwindle. Then looking at Ford, still on a sell signal here, we needed to close on Friday above $14. We closed at $14, so any higher close on Monday would give us a buy signal for Ford. Micron still on a sell signal, no change there. Okay, folks, that is all for this morning's presentation. So far, it looks like we are going to see some selling at the open on Monday morning. Have a great day. Next time you'll hear my voice is on Tuesday morning.
Thanks for tuning in until the very end of today's stock market timing educational video. If you found the content valuable, don't forget to express your support by hitting the like button, leave a comment, sharing with your friends, and subscribing to our channel for more insightful updates. Remember, in the world of stocks, timing is crucial, and following the trend can be your greatest ally. If you would like more information on how we can help you better time the stock market, please visit theuptrend.com.